Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the corporate world. Today we are diving into a report from Super Microcomputer, and trust me, it is super. It includes convertible notes, capped calls, and a lot more financial jargon that sounds like a bad tech thriller. But fear not, because we're going to make sense of it all. Super Microcomputer just raised a huge chunk of money, and this report tells us how they did it and what they plan to do with it. We will look at the deal, its impact, and if it's a good move for the company and its investors. Let's get started. Before we begin, if you like clear explanations of complicated financial stuff, make sure you are subscribed to the channel, and if you want to talk about these things live, we also have a Discord channel. Link is in this video descriptions below. The company filed what is called a Form 8K. This is a current report companies use to announce significant events to investors. Think of it as a corporate breaking news update. The date on this report is June 23, 2025. The company we are talking about is Super Microcomputer, also known as Super Micro. They are a Delaware corporation with the ticker symbol SMCI. Their main office is in San Jose, California. Now, let's get to the main event. This report is about a big financial move. The company entering into an agreement regarding convertible notes. Supermicro just completed the sale of $2.3 billion in convertible senior notes. These are called convertible senior notes. These are called convertible $1 million because the initial buyers of the notes decided to buy even more using what's called an option. These buyers are referred to as the initial purchasers. This all happened through a private sale to big institutional investors following certain rules under the Securities Act. The notes were issued based on something called an indenture between Supermicro and US Bank Trust Company, who is acting as the trustee. An indenture is basically the contract. It specifies the terms of the debt agreement being made between the company and the trustee, in this case US Bank Trust Company. This includes the details of the notes, like when they mature, interest rates and conversion terms. So after all the deductions, Supermicro ended up with about $2.26 billion. They used about $182 million of that to cover the cost of something called capped call transactions, which we will explain later. They also spent $200 million to buy back about 4.9 million shares of their own stock from some of the note purchasers. The rest of the money is going to be used for general business purposes, like funding growth and expansion. These convertible notes are a bit unusual. They don't have a regular interest rate, meaning Supermicro doesn't pay regular interest payments to the note holders. The notes can be converted into cash, shares of Supermicro stock, or a combination of both. It's Supermicro's choice how they want to pay it out. The notes ranked equally with Supermicro's other senior debts, like their convertible notes due in 2028 and 2029. However, they are lower in priority than any secured debt, which is debt backed by specific assets. Also, these notes are below the debt of Supermicro's subsidiaries, meaning if those subsidiaries go bankrupt, those creditors get paid first. Now, when can these notes be converted? Note holders can only convert in specific situations. First, if Supermicro's stock price is doing really well. Second, if the trading price of the notes drops too low. Third, if there are certain big corporate changes or distributions on Supermicro's stock. Fourth, if Supermicro decides to call the notes back, which the company can do under certain conditions. Finally, note holders can convert them near the end of the term, starting in late 2029. The initial conversion rate is about 18 shares of Supermicro stock for every $1,000 of notes. This means the initial conversion price is around 55.10 change based on the terms in the indenture. If a fundamental change happens, like a major acquisition, note holders can force Supermicro to buy back their notes at the original price, plus any unpaid interest. Also, if there's a make-whole fundamental change before the notes mature, Supermicro can also choose to redeem or call back the notes for cash starting mid-2028, but only if certain conditions are met. The agreement also lists events that would be considered diats. This includes things like not paying the notes back when due, failing to make interest payments, not providing required notices, failing to convert the notes properly, violations of the company's obligations, or bankruptcy. What are these capped call transactions we talked about earlier? When Supermicro priced these convertible notes, they also entered into agreements with a bunch of banks, including Bank of Montreal, Barclays, and Citibank. These agreements are called capped call transactions. When the initial buyers bought even more notes, Supermicro entered into even more of these transactions. These deals are designed to lower the potential dilution, which means the reduction in value for existing shareholders if their convertible notes are converted into stock. It also helps offset any cash payments Supermicro might have to make above the original value of the notes as a cap price on these transactions. Initially, it was about $81.78 per share, which was double the stock price on June 23, 2020 dollars per share, which can also change based on the terms of the agreements. These banks might adjust their positions by trading in Supermicro stock after the pricing of the convertible notes and before the notes mature. This could affect the stock price, making it harder or easier for note holders to convert their notes. It could also change the amount of money or stock that the holders get when they convert. These are separate deals between Supermicro and the banks. They don't change any of the rights of the note holders. If you want to dig deep into the confirmations for these transactions, they are included as an exhibit in this report. Basically, Supermicro has now committed to paying back this $2.3 billion. Supermicro sold these convertible notes without registering them with the SEC, relying on exemptions in the Securities Act. This means they didn't have to go through the usual process of registering the securities, because they sold them to qualified institutional buyers in a private placement. If the notes are converted into stock, those shares also won't be registered based on certain exemptions. Initially, up to 56 million shares of Supermicro stock could be issued if all the notes are converted based on the initial conversion rate. The company also put out a press release about the pricing of these notes, which is attached as an exhibit. Remember, nothing in this report or press release is an offer for anyone to buy these notes or any stock. Dr. Mal, let's zoom out and look at what all this means. Supermicro has taken on a significant amount of debt with these convertible notes. $2.3 billion is a huge sum, while they got a good interest rate of 0 point ever business. The stock price needs to stay above the conversion price, or it may result in increased dilution for the company. One notable risk is market volatility. If the stock price drops significantly, notators might convert, potentially diluting existing shareholders. The capped call transactions help to mitigate some of this risk, but they aren't a full guarantee. Another risk is the potential for a fundamental change, like an acquisition, which could force Supermicro to buy back the notes. With all these different possible events, there's no guarantee the company will make it. Overall, this move could be seen as aggressive but strategic. It is an infusion of capital that could propel to greater heights, but also carries a lot of risk. In short, the company is making a big bet on future growth. Alright, that's our breakdown of Supermicro Computer's latest filing. What's your take on these numbers and what they signal for the company's future? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out our Discord in the description. Thanks for watching, see you next time.